Hi everyone, I'm Emerald Mosaic, and I wanted to talk um, about a time uh, a little after I met my late wife Natalie, and a bit about the kind of identity crisis that I went through, which had a spiritual component to it. And I want to talk about what that was like for me. So, just as you probably know by now, at the time I was a Christian, and I didn't how to word this. So first of all, I at the time fully subscribed to the Christian teachings about sexuality, that it should only be between a man and a woman, and that um, well, I mean, that's the majority of that part. And I also really had not acknowledged mm, the truth about myself. And so when I was much younger, in my, I guess, early 20s, very, very early 20s, maybe late teens even, the first thing that I can recall that kind of stands out is that I had a dream about my best friend. At the time, I dreamed that we were making out. And when I woke up, I had no idea what to do with that, so I just shelved it. Okay, put that away. Don't know what that means. Um, I always said that I appreciated the aesthetics of the female body. Um, and I had guy friends that in college, I would point out a pretty girl and be like, hey, check her out. If I was a guy, but I'm a girl, so ew. Which, of course, now I understand what that actually means. Anyway, so when I met Natalie, as I've said, she had the body of a man. And so for me, the fact that she was transitioning, once I acknowledged that there was an attraction, and she flirted first, I kind of had to decide, okay, what am I going to do with this, given my religious beliefs at the time? And I did tell her at one point, look, male or female, I find you attractive. I was able to acknowledge that much, but I just didn't know what I was going to do with it. And I really had to make a decision, because the future of our relationship, or lack thereof, would depend on it. And so here's where I have to give a little, go back a little bit. This is really funny. It didn't start off funny. Okay, so she and I met towards the end of 2017. September of 2017. We started getting to know each other in October. And I have to go back a couple years. Oh, no, about a year. About a year. 2016, in January, is when I had my hip replacement. And when I was recovering from my hip replacement, I was getting to know this guy. Things seemed to be going well, and then he ghosted me. And at the time, again, I was a Christian, and I would periodically, throughout my life, I heard a voice in my mind that I attributed to the voice of the deity that I believed in at the time. No, I don't say the word that is spelled G-O-D. It causes just a little spike of anxiety, and I'd rather not deal with it. So anyway, so yeah, I was praying, like asking, why do you introduce me to all these wonderful men that who seem so perfect for me in so many ways, and then yank them away from me? And I heard in reply, in my head, not audibly. This is not schizophrenia. This is not a hallucination. It's just a thought that entered my head that didn't originate from me. And what I heard was, I'm not giving you a husband. And I cried and I cried and I wailed, and it wasn't fair and it was horrible at the time. And then that summer, summer of 2017. So this is actually a year after that. Okay. Yeah, because that was January 26th, well, spring of 2016, and now summer of 2017, before I moved to the town where I met Natalie. I started going to a new church just for that summer. The church I had been going to, I had reasons that I didn't want to go there anymore. So I started going to this new church, and the pastor started a new series that usually is reserved for classes, not the main sermon. He started a series on marriage and what makes a good marriage, how to have a good marriage, all that good stuff. And I was like, why? Again, I was praying, like, why do I have to listen to this? If you say you're not giving me a husband, why do I have to listen to all this? And what I heard was, I'm preparing you for marriage. I was like, what? You said you're not giving me a husband. How? That makes no sense. What is going on? And then I met Natalie, and I was getting to know her, and we were talking about what the Bible actually says about homosexuality. According to various sources, there's multiple interpretations. She was talking about what some churches say, how they interpret it. And as she's talking about this, those previous two messages flash into my head, followed by, so what I heard was, I'm not giving you a husband. I'm preparing you for marriage because I'm giving you a wife. I busted out laughing. I was like, what? And she's like, what are you laughing about? So I had to tell her the whole story. I think that was when I realized I was going to start dating her knowing we were going to get married, which is why we got married just a few months later. Sometimes you just know. And I do not recommend that. I don't think that in most cases, I do not think it's right. In most cases. And I have no regrets. So that's when I decided to fully embrace what at the time I thought was bisexuality. Now I realize it's pansexual. I don't really care as much about the body, about the physical side of it, because when I fall in love with a person, I'm not falling in love with their body. I'm falling in love with who they are. And if who they are is worth falling in love with, the physical attraction will come. It will. And that's really what happened when I married my son's dad. Initially, when I met him, I was not attracted to him. Just wasn't there. And I was kind of like, oh great, how am I going to tell him I'm not attracted? How am I going to tell him I just want to be friends? But I got to know him, and he had, like, I had a list of like 5 top qualities I was looking for. He checked every box. And that's kind of rare. I mean, even those 5 qualities were kind of rare. And he ticked every box, and I was like, now what? And so I talked to my mom about it, and she said something pretty profound. She said that you can fall in love with the most wonderful, amazing, gorgeous person in the world. And they can get into an accident and be horribly disfigured. So you can't rely on physical beauty. The thing is this a person that you would want to wake up with every morning? That's what matters. It's not about would you want to go to bed with them. It's do you want to wake up with them? And that, I think, is a recipe for a better marriage. Now, it is important to watch out for those red flags. And I was not good at that back then. Now, if I met somebody like Natalie, I would probably wait a whole lot longer before even deciding to date. But sometimes you get a little nudge from a power higher than yourself. And when you hear it that clearly, you know, it was what I needed. It was what I needed at the time. She was who I needed to be with at the time. She really was. And that's why I have zero regrets. She changed me in all the best ways. She got me where I needed to be. And to be honest, I would not be who I am today if she had lived. And I hate saying that because I miss her. I miss her all the time. And yet grief has transformed me in ways that are good. I might have changed in very different ways that could still be good if she had lived. That's not what happened. So I'm grateful I met her. I'm grateful I married her. And I'm grateful for who I am today, even though I had to lose her to become that person. So I'm going to leave you with that. I know it's kind of a whole lot jumbled into just a few minutes, but I hope it gives you a lot of food for thought. I'd love to hear your comments. And so if you want to hear more about her, I will be sharing more about her whether you hit like or not. But I would appreciate it if you hit like if you did enjoy this. So have a great day, and I will see you soon.